It was marketed as a dystopian story for young readers, a fight to the death, a corrupt government, a brave teenage girl who refuses to play by the rules. But years later, the story feels less like fiction and more like a warning. Because The Hunger Games isn't really about survival, it's about control. At the center of it all is Katniss Everdeen, a character who never wanted to be a hero. She doesn't volunteer to change the world, she volunteers to save her sister, and that matters, because it immediately sets her apart from traditional heroes. Katniss isn't driven by glory, destiny, or power. She's driven by love, and forced into a system designed to destroy it. That system is Panem, a nation divided into districts ruled by the wealthy and powerful capital led by President Snow. On the surface, the Hunger Games themselves are punishment for a past rebellion, but in reality there's something much darker. They're entertainment. Every year, children are forced to fight to the death on live television. The Capitol watches, they celebrate, they place bets. And that's the point. The games aren't just about eliminating threats, they're about reminding everyone who's in control. Fear keeps the districts obedient, but spectacle keeps them distracted, and that idea feels uncomfortably familiar. Because today we also live in a world where entertainment never stops, where real struggles can be turned into content, where people watch, comment, and move on. The Hunger Games takes that idea to its extreme. It asks a simple question: what happens when human suffering becomes a show? Katniss understands this faster than anyone. She realizes that survival isn't just about fighting, it's about perception. When she honors Rue, when she refuses to kill Peeta, when she threatens to eat the berries, she's not just rebelling, she's breaking the script. And that's what makes her dangerous. Not because she's the strongest fighter, but because she refuses to play the role the Capitol designed for her. And the Capitol needs those roles. Heroes, villains, tragic deaths. It's all part of the narrative. Because as long as people are focused on the story, they don't question the system behind it. But Katniss disrupts that. She turns a controlled narrative into something unpredictable. And unpredictability is the one thing a system like Panem can't handle. That's why Peeta Mellark is just as important to the story. Peeta doesn't fight with weapons. He fights with emotion. His kindness, his honesty, even his vulnerability, it all goes against what the games are supposed to represent. Together, Katniss and Peeta create something the Capitol didn't plan for: hope. And hope is more dangerous than fear. Because fear keeps people in line, but hope makes them question why they're in line at all. That's why the story doesn't end with one victory, because beating the system once doesn't destroy it, it exposes it. And once people see the truth, everything changes. That's what makes The Hunger Games so powerful even now. It's not just a story about survival, it's a story about how systems maintain power, how media shapes reality, and how one person, by refusing to play along, can change everything. Because in the end, the most important moment isn't when Katniss fires an arrow, it's when she decides not to be a piece in their game.